when I'm crying and I'm having a bad day, that doesn't mean that I'm not happy, because I think happiness really comes from being grateful for all the things you already have and just loving your life, but also accepting emotions, accepting ups and downs, because they are human and they are normal. And many people are always striving for this, the best version of myself, always being like positive and always like doing da. But I think for me, it's way more important to just be human and to let go of all my emotions. When I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a happy life.
Stay connected to gratitude. Hit the follow button right now and join thousands of listeners tuning in each week. We're the Gratitude Seekers. Come join us. Hi, Gratitude Seeker. Welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Today with us, we have Lulu from Lulu's Dreamtown. She's an Instagram influencer from Germany that focuses on self-love, veganism, joy, being real, and making the world a better place. She loves inspiring people to appreciate life and be happy. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I believe she's part of a generation that brings hope for the future, and I'm really excited to have Lulu here. And let us know a little bit about you, Lulu.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So I'm Lulu, I'm from Germany, and I've been blogging forever, actually, since I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
And at the beginning, I was just doing beauty, and then I started doing food, and now I'm all about self-love. And I'm always trying to inspire people and be creative.
That's beautiful. And yeah, you should definitely check out Lulu's Dreamtown on Instagram. She has some beautiful pictures and some great ideas when it comes to food, and also like the things that she writes and the things that she writes about are just incredible. And I think it's so beautiful to see that on
Thank
Instagram.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually wanted to tell you that one of the things that I really appreciate about your Instagram posts is that you also share fails and you're very exact.
Yeah.
And that's so
Yeah.
refreshing.
I love doing that because, on Instagram and social media in general, so many people are always sharing their perfect moments and those
Yeah.
perfect days, and everything is just so awesome and they're living their best life. And, we all have great moments, but we all have like bad moments, or like moments where we just fail or feel bad. And I think people, when they go on social media, they feel like they're less, or they do something wrong because they see all of those perfect people. And like, we forgot that we are all human and we all have emotions and we all have those bad days, or we are on our period and crying for no reason, all of that stuff. And it's so important to share that on Instagram so people realize that everyone is just human.
Exactly.
And that's something that's really important to me.
I love that perspective, and I think you're doing an amazing job with that. And like I said, I feel that it's really refreshing, and I think it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that. And I want to firstly ask you, how do you manage to be so accepting of yourself? I guess that has something to do with self-love, right?
Yeah, totally. Like a few years ago, I didn't love myself. Actually, I hated myself, and I was in a really bad eating disorder. And I just, I was in a bad place. And because of that, I learned how to love myself. And I got more into this topic and researched it online and practiced it every single day. And I think I'm really, really grateful that this bad stuff happened to me, because that's why I'm where I am right now. And I know that not many people are able to post something like that because we are so afraid of what other people could think of us. What if someone thinks that we are stupid, or we look weird, or we are, I don't even know, some bad stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest things I had to learn, is not to care what other people think about me. And that's why I'm doing this stuff.
I think it's so important and so powerful because it actually it's real. It's we can identify with that, and I love the fact that you, even if there are fails or things that are um, harder to share, let's say, you still bring a positive spin to it. Like you have a way of responding to that that's very beautiful, and I think that's such an important thing to see and to be um, to actually be influenced by, because you are an influencer. Many people, uh, especially younger people, look up to you, and I think that's so important that they can see that, and they can um, because we are influenced by what we see more than uh, by by words, let's say. When we see something like this, we get the idea, I could do that, I could try that, you
Mm-hmm.
know and I am really appreciative of this, and of the fact that you are putting these kinds of things out there. But I wanted to ask you, how do you practice self-love? How could our listeners practice self-love, and how were you able to get to this level?
I think the first thing people have to remind themselves about is that it's okay to take time for that. I'm feeling like many people want to love themselves within one day. And, when you dislike yourself for so many years, you can't do it overnight. And it's really important to take time for yourself and do it every single day, just a little bit. And it comes slow, but it comes, it's happening. And that's the important thing. And there are actually so many things you can do. For example, what I love to do is taking myself on a date, like going somewhere just for myself, swimming, or taking time in nature and not being on the phone, not doing it with anyone else but yourself, or massaging your body with some oil, or doing face mask, watching a beautiful movie, enjoying some snacks or a cake, and putting reminders in your apartment. For example, you write something down like, I am beautiful just the way I am, and you put it on a mirror, and then you remind yourself of that every single day. And it's a lot about mindset. For example, a few years ago, I looked in a mirror and I was like, oh my God, I hate my legs. What I do now is I look in the mirror, and when there's a bad thought, I correct myself, and I'm like, I'm not saying I hate my legs. I'm saying I love my legs because I'm able to walk every single day because of them, and I'm so grateful to have them. And changing those thoughts every single day, bit by bit, is really creating this power of self-love, and also not just focusing on the outside, but also on the inside. I think self-love is so much deeper than just accepting your body. It's also like accepting your true self. And yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I do every single day.
beautiful. I think it's such an important part that's many times forgotten. The fact that we tend to love each other, to love other people, but truth is that we can only love other people as much as we love ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
if we don't love ourselves too much, we don't have like the emotional bucket isn't full enough so that it can actually overflow and give to other people. And
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's very important to take this time, and even even if we just think about other people and how we could love them more, we could start with ourselves and, like you said, do those things, have those new habits, and also work on how you view yourself, both on the inside and on the outside, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, many people, what you just said, you can only love others when you love yourself. Many people take that the wrong way. You know, they're like, yeah, I don't love myself, but I love my mom and I can do that. But fact is, many people don't really understand this quote or take it the wrong way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And something that really helped me to understand what this quote actually means is one example. I always say that I am the cake. That means that I am this entire cake, which is delicious and wonderful. And I'm really, really happy with having this cake. But I'm also happy with toppings. What it means is like toppings, like I'm happy when I have friends and great experiences and all that beautiful moments, but I'm also happy with just the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when you are just a piece of cake or you are nearly a full cake and someone else is giving you love, this person will never fill up this love because maybe this person is the cream on the cake or the cherry, but you need the dough, you know what I mean? And you're like this main thing, and no one else can fill this empty space in you but you. So you have to fill this empty space. And you know, that's also the reason why we are so jealous and have bad relationships with others, because we always expect everyone to do something for us in order to fill our empty space with love. And that's why it's so important that we love ourselves and that we are happy with ourselves. And the rest of it, like all of those friends and relationships and all of that, that's great too. But these are just the toppings on this cake, you know?
Wow, I really love this way of seeing how this works, how self love works, and um, how relationship work. It's so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful that you've created such a vivid um, image of this. I think it's so powerful to see things from this point of view, and to realize that we are we are the cake, like you were saying, and
Yeah.
we have we have toppings that indeed make us happier, um, but that the the cake itself is important um, to be full, to have what it needs in order for it to be good.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to point out something that I think you're doing really great, is that you manage to keep your inner child alive. And um, our inner child is that part of us that is really appreciative of life and
Mhm.
approaches life with ease and with joy, and sees all of the blessings, all of the wonders of life. How can we keep our inner child as we grow up?
Yeah, I think like when I was a child, I felt pure freedom. I had creativity and I had dreams, and you know, I wasn't thinking about what could this person think of me and all of that stuff. And we have this free, happy mindset. And when we get older, we have those rules and we have those limits, you know, that's something that I see with so many people. And I'm always like, I wanna stay a child. I want to stay a child. I don't want to be older. Because of that, you know. And I know that I can't go back, but I can add that to my life now, to the present. And what I do is, um, for example, I watch Disney movies. I play games that I did when I was younger, and sometimes I kind of remind myself of what I did when I was younger. For example, when I was 9 years old, which is exactly 10 years ago, so crazy, I did this voice message thing. I don't know, VHS stuff, and I just found that a few months ago. And I was like, oh my God, I took this 10 years ago. I have to listen to that. And in the first 5 minutes, there was one sentence that, I don't know, it was just too crazy. Again, I was 9 years old, okay? I took this voice message and I was like, maybe you're wondering why I'm currently doing this. And maybe it doesn't really make sense, but I'm just doing it because it's fun.
Mm.
And how many things are actually, how many things are we doing just because of fun? Not because we want to be successful or get more money or have that and that and that. Like, for real, how many things are we doing just for fun? And it was so crazy to listen to that, because at that point when I was listening to it, I forced myself to do so many things that I didn't want to do, and I forgot to have fun. And that's why I added more fun to my life. Just, doing things that are not going to reach any goals or whatever, just doing it to have fun.
That's so important, and that's so true. Like the more we grow older, we have a tendency to be more serious and more focused on different goals and on things that need to be done. And actually, we forget that an important part of life is having fun. And the funny thing is that from what I've seen and from my own experience, many times people that know how to have fun are actually more successful than people that don't have fun,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and that was so interesting for me, because I myself have been uh, like I've been taught by my parents to be serious, and that
Mm-hmm.
seriousness is like quality, is something that's really important. If I want people to take me seriously, that I have to be serious, of course. And for me, that was really interesting to see that you can do things like with a light heart and with joy, and you can actually get to those goals and have fun on the way, and that is very important to do that, actually.
Yeah, it's really important.
So I also wanted to get to another point that I think will be very interesting for our listeners. um, Many of our listeners are trying to teach their children self-love and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
We are younger, and for us, I think it would be an opportunity to let um, the people that are our parents now, that are trying to do that, to tell them how it would be a good idea to approach these topics. Like, how would you like your parents to approach this, or maybe they already did approach these subjects in a very smart way that actually got to you?
So I was actually thinking a lot about parenting, because I think parenting is really hard, because, there are those who are too kind, and then there are those who are too strict. And it's really hard to find this part right in the middle that has both sides, that you have rules, but you also have this freedom and all of that. And when it comes to self-love, I think it's really important to talk to our kids about that they're perfect just the way they are, but not just focusing on the outside, especially on the inside, telling them that what you did was so kind, what you did was so good, and sharing this love. Like, love is so important. And you can be strict. Of course, you can have rules and say, okay, this, you shouldn't do that. But really find this way to have those rules, but also it's really hard to say that. I don't know. But like my mom, what she did, and that was so important and beautiful for me, she always said, no matter what it is, only do it if it makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know that about me, but I quit school. And that's kind of my start when I started like all of this self-love stuff and being self-employed. And I was in school and I was so unhappy. And I knew I could do so much more, and I knew I wouldn't like study anything. I would always be self-employed. But I was so afraid. But I was like, I just knew that this school was horrible for me. And my mom was like, yeah, take 1 year off. Make a break. Just take 1 year off. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. But I had so much anxiety about school. Like every single day I was crying and I had panic attacks. And she was like, you know, do what makes you happy. And it helped me so much, because that's really this one thing that we have to remember is, seriously, one day we die. And we have this one life. Maybe we have 60 years, maybe 70, maybe only 40. We don't know. We really don't know when we're going to die. Why should we suffer? Why should we force ourselves to do something we don't want or that doesn't make us happy? And why should we be like this person that gains so much money and has everything and is so successful, when this person might be really unhappy? Like, everyone needs their own way of living. For some people, it's meditating and just traveling the world, and other people love having this big business and doing all of those crazy things, you know? And as parents, I think it's really important to give them roots where they come back and have this feeling of family and love and support, but also give them the freedom and those wings to fly away and live their best life. Yeah, I really hope this kind of helped somehow.
It definitely does. And I think you've gotten to a really interesting point about school and about actually being able to have the courage and also, of course, the support um, to do things differently, like to do things that other people don't do. And it's it's really easy to just, from one point of view at least, to go with society and its rules, but sometimes it's really something different that makes us happy. And I think that what you did is quite courageous and um, very inspiring in the search for happiness. And many of us actually go through what you were going through when you were in school, and we think that this is life and that there are no other options because this is what society has in store for us.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I think you're proving that there are other options and that you can choose a different path, a path that actually leads to more happiness and, interestingly enough, to a positive influence in the world. Like I think you are really doing work that's, at least my opinion, much more important than what you could be doing in school.
Thank you. Yeah, what you just said, like, I made a video about that, like about society and all of those things in life in general. And I said this thing about we're here not to suffer, you know, we're here to live and be happy and all of that. And there was one comment by a woman, I think she was older, and she was like, yeah, one day when you get older, you realize that life is hard and you just have to get through it. And I was like, oh my God, people are actually having this mindset of my life has to be hard, but your life doesn't have to be hard. Like, why should our life be hard? Like, this is not the point of being here. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so important to me to inspire people that, you know, you have this one chance to live. You have this one chance to make it beautiful. Why should you suffer? Why should you put yourself in this cage of working and then going home and watching TV for like 2 hours and then go to sleep and then you go to work again and you are just unhappy with that? You know, some people are happy with that and that's great for them, but most people are not happy with that. And, you know, then change it. If you are not happy right now, write it down and find a new way for you. And it's not, you know, some people are always like, yeah, when I finally have that amount of money, I'm happy. And when I finally have I'm happy. But the truth is, when you always think that at one point you are going to be happy, it's never going to happen, because the real happiness is already there. But we closed our eyes and forgot about it. But it's already here. And we really have to see that again, that happiness is here right now in this moment. We just have to open our eyes again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think this is where gratitude kicks in, and having a habit of choosing to see the small things that make our life better, and um, that make us happy actually, but we don't even realize it, or we just got used to them. And I think that bit by bit can lead us in a better direction. Like every day, just seeing more of the things that we appreciate about our life can lead us to a life that we appreciate more somehow. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it can help us make such decisions like you've made, because it it empowers us to see that we have control of our life and that we are creating it by choosing on what we focus on. And also I believe that this is one of the things that we as a generation are doing, and I think it's an important part of our mission to help create this possibility, and to help people realize that they have this possibility, because they have been, like, the people that are older than us have been through their own experiences and have chosen to see life, like you were saying, the person in the comments said they saw life in a certain way. But the thing is that they actually have the power to change how they see life, because life isn't in a certain way. We just see it every day. It can change. Like today we can feel that it's the best thing ever. Tomorrow there might be some challenges, but the way we see it, and how much gratitude we can find in it, can really change, and can change for the better. And I think that's an important part of um, us being empowered, and also empowering others to get to see that possibility.
Yeah, what you just said about those bad days is something that I also had to realize is, for example, when I'm crying and I'm having a bad day, that doesn't mean that I'm not happy, because I think happiness really comes from being grateful for all the things you already have, and just loving your life, but also accepting emotions, accepting ups and downs, because they are human and they are normal. And many people are always striving for this, yeah, the best version of myself, always being like positive and always like doing da 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 da. But I think for me, it's way more important to just be human and to let go of all my emotions. When I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a happy life, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And I love listening to you, and knowing that the young generation thinks like this and sees things like this, and I think that's so powerful. And I'm really happy to see and to know that we have influencers like you for the younger generation. And I think that this is really changing the world, and it's making us become very different from what our parents or grandparents were. Of course, different circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that we can choose to see things differently can really get us to a different outcome in life personally, and as well in the larger scheme of things. Like we can um, have a different kind of earth, let's say, if there would be more of us that will see things in this manner. I think it's so important, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy that you're doing this work.
Thank you. Yeah, I truly believe in this generation, especially because we have so many opportunities. Like, we don't have a world war, we don't have problems that we have 100 years ago, or like even, I don't know, 70 years ago. And we have so much freedom and so many beautiful opportunities, and we can, we can do it. And I think it's really important to show this generation that we can do it better, and we can change this world again.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm really happy that we can bring um, this perspective for our listeners, and hope. And like you were saying, the facts prove that the world is actually becoming a better place more and more. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that the bad news is always all over the place, and we hear about the bad news even if it's something that's from a really far away part of the world, because of, or thanks to the internet, and to the fact that we have really fast communication. But the truth is that it's never been better to be a human being on this
Yeah,
planet than it is today.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So many like older people are always saying like, yeah, in the past it was so much better. But I'm like, have you ever read a history book? Like, it's how it is now. It's way better for people than it was hundreds of years ago, or even before. It's now it's okay. Like, gay marriage is completely accepted in so many countries, and self-love is becoming a big thing. And there's no war anymore in many countries, and there are so many things that are better. Of course, there are things that are not better, that are actually really bad. For example, pollution and plastic, and you know how we what we do with the animals, all that stuff. But we still have the power to change that too, and to make this better again. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And I was actually thinking about this topic too, the fact that many of the things that we enjoy today, it would have been necessary for us to be kings or queens to be able to enjoy these things,
Mm-hmm.
like the food that we have, like everything from different parts of the world. We just go to the supermarket and it's there. And that wasn't even possible for kings or queens, or it would be at a really um, high cost, or all kinds of things that we got used with. And it's normal to get used with things, but that when you think about it, it was it was a luxury just maybe a few years ago or a few tens of years ago, I I can't even imagine 100 or 200 or even more years ago how that would have been. So yeah, it's quite amazing. But in our outro, let's say, we're nearing the end of our time together, and I wanted to ask you about the people in your life that you're grateful for, and the things that you are grateful for in your life.
So the things that make me grateful is especially the things that make me survive. For example, water. Like, I'm so grateful to have water and food and like having like feet and legs to walk, and like having the sun. Like, for example, today it's a warm day and I'm going outside in like one and a half hours, something like that. And I'm just really enjoying like all of those things that I get completely for free, and they're just there. Okay, I have to pay for water and I have to pay for food and all of that. But it's just, you know, what you just said. Some people say it's so normal and we get used to it, but we have to remember that these are the most essential things to survive. Also, having doctors, you know, when I have an accident, like a few hundred years ago, I would have died. And now it's no problem because there's a doctor. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to inspire people and to have this platform. And to the people I'm most grateful for, definitely my boyfriend. He's so kind, and I'm so happy that I found a person that, yeah, it's just a soulmate. And I'm also really grateful for my parents and my sister, and for some of my new friends I made here. I just moved to a new place, and I'm really happy to have some friends here. Yeah, these are the people I'm most grateful for.
That's beautiful. I'm I'm really happy that you mentioned these simple things, and I think they are great reminders of the things that we can be grateful for each day, because we have most days we have sun, we have running water, and most of us have legs that work, that get us to places. And yeah, it's something that it's very simple and that we can all relate to and we can all be grateful for. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and for being here with us and for the work that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Hey, Gratitude Seeker, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this interview. I really appreciate it. And if you could think of one person that would also benefit from it, share it with them. It might actually be the inspiration that they need to make their day or maybe even their life much better. Thank you so much once again. This has been Georgian Benta. Don't forget to keep seeking and spreading gratitude.